quite popular actually among Singapore students. Okay, but yeah, do follow us on our ACC social media channels. Okay, or just visit our website for information about study overseas. Okay, or some of the latest news about some course offering, and as well as like maybe this border situation. Okay, yeah, so feel free to check us out. Okay, now I'd like to introduce now to our speakers. Okay, first we have Iona Chu from Study Group. All right, and we also have Donghui from Kaplan International Pathway. Okay, so yes, Iona and Donghui would be grateful. Perhaps if you could just introduce us about yourselves, and yeah, tell us a little bit more about yourself. All right, Iona, maybe I'll start with you.
Thanks, Justin. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. So my name is Iona, and I am a recruitment manager at Study Group. So we partner with over 30 global universities spanning across Australia, New Zealand, UK, North America, and as well as Ireland. And so Study Group has a long history of pathway providers into some of the top universities in the UK. So yeah.
All right, thanks, Iona. Donghui, yeah, what about you? Yeah, tell us more about yourself.
Thank you, Justin. So my name is Donghui. I'm from Kaplan International Pathways. So we work with different universities, institutions in the UK, Australia. So for today, so we're focusing on the UK. We have 15 university partners that you will find out more later. So 7 of them are in Russell Group universities and 8 with modern universities. So most of our program are actually taught on the university campus and a couple of them in our own college in London called Kaplan International College London.
Okay, excellent. Two of you sounds expert in this area. Okay, yeah, we'll just continue then. Okay, perhaps I'll just let people know about the structure of this evening's talk. Okay, so first thing first. Okay, we will have a Q&A about the about study in the UK and the universities in general, and then towards the end we'll have a Q&A for the audience to ask any questions or any topic that perhaps we forgot to cover and all that. So yeah, any questions, everyone, please feel free to write them down in our Q&A box. Okay, and yeah, we will answer your queries later on towards the end. Okay, right, without further ado, we'll get started. Okay, so Iona, Donghui, okay, as you guys probably agree with me, UK is quite a popular destination. Okay, not just for tourism is one thing, but yeah, definitely for education. But yeah, perhaps you can give us an overview about the UK universities. All right, I understand there's like certain groupings. There's the Russell Group University, and then there's the modern universities as well. Yeah, perhaps you could give us a brief overview about what the universities are and what does this grouping mean. Okay, Iona, maybe I'll start with you first.
Okay, thanks, Justin. So the two main sort of groups of universities that we'll be discussing today would be the Russell Group universities and the modern universities. So the Russell Group universities are essentially a group of 24 different universities with long established and usually very high ranking universities that are across your QS rankings, your Times rankings. And these universities are very traditional and they're very research focused. And they have a reputation for academic excellence. And usually depending on what subject you choose to study, the research element may be an extremely important factor to you. So for our students that are looking to do things like biomedical sciences or things like engineering, having a school with a very reputable research department usually helps them as well in their learning. Donghui, you want to talk about the modern universities?
Yeah, thanks, Anna. So I'll cover on the modern universities. Modern universities essentially are this group of universities. They are also called the post-1992 universities. So basically, they only get the university status from about 1992 onwards. So this group of universities, previously, they were actually institutions and polytechnics, just that they didn't have too much focus on research itself. Okay, so like the name itself, these universities actually focus on more practical things. that is more relevant to the, that's more current. So they have a lot more creative and a lot more unique degrees that you will find within these universities. So most of the time it's more specialized, and they focus a lot more on coursework and practical experience instead of just pure research.
Okay, that's well summarized. Just but then moving on from those overview, perhaps you can let us know, what are the unique highlights perhaps of attending these two different universities then, like different, what are the unique highlights of going to Russell Group universities and also the modern universities? Perhaps we'll start with you again.
So the unique highlights of Russell Group universities, specifically, I think as we sort of outlined earlier, they have a very strong research element, and they have a reputation for academic achievement. So a lot of our students are interested in Russell Group universities purely because they have these two sort of very unique points in terms of universities with very good research. And a lot of them feel that Russell Group universities are more recognized in their home country, or, in Singapore, a lot of students tell me that, Russell Group universities are more recognized by government agencies and things like that. So they feel that there's a higher employability rate, but to be very honest, I think Dong Hui will agree with me, it's pretty much the same. It really depends on the course that you're looking to go to, and as well as the job at the end of the day.
So I think I'll add on to that. Okay, I thought I muted myself. So the misconception that a lot of people have is that Russell Group equals to the best possible education, which is actually not true. So although, yes, they do dominate like the top league tables in world ranking and whatnot, if you actually see how the ranking is tabulated, there's a huge portion actually goes into research by the professors and whatnot. And these professors, or even, Nobel Prize winners, they have the history there. That's why they are strong in that. But sometimes if you look at specific subject rankings, there are many universities that's top in the list, but they may not be in Russell Group. So like what Ayana mentioned, yes, attending a Russell Group, it's perceived as, some of the best universities in the world. I would believe that in Singapore, the big majority of the companies in Singapore, they may not be familiar with UK universities. Definitely, they will know Oxbridge, they will know Liverpool and Manchester for the football, and maybe beyond that, a lot of people actually don't know them very well. So, but they may be familiar with the term Russell Group. So this gives them that perception and assurance that the standard of students that this university do produce. But on the other hand, you need to see what sort of degree and profession you want to get into. Modern universities, for their strength, I would say, like I mentioned earlier, they have leading research in very niche areas. So let's say all the contemporary degrees: animation, product design, real estate, wildlife conservation, fashion management. All these things you don't really hear much about in more traditional universities. Not say they don't have, it might be just a module in their more traditional degrees, but this is completely focused on, these niche areas itself. So one of the best example I can give you is for one of our partners, Bursaries University. It is one of the leading places to study animation and digital effects. So in fact, 55 of the graduates from this university has actually worked on the movie Avatar in 2009, the one with blue skin. So essentially the two types of universities, they have their own characteristics. There is no one better than the other. So you need to look at the various factors in what you want as a student to determine which university best support you to attain your ideal career.
To add on to what Dong Hui was saying as well, so modern universities are actually a driven student-centered teaching, and they have a very innovative curriculum design. And they continue to offer traditional courses as well. So if your students are interested in studying history or philosophy, they have those programs, but they are mainly specialized in skills, and these universities are developed to offer new subjects and new courses to respond to the emerging market trends and technologies in the world today. So for example, like what Dong Hui said, creative industries, animation, You know, some of the fintech courses as well are offered at modern universities and are ranked quite highly as well. So modern universities focuses not just on, you know, the social and cultural change, but they also have research that drives, you know, the economy, and they want to be known as a university think tank versus a more sort of traditional Russell Group sort of university.
Okay. Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for explaining. Now, you mentioned about, you know, like how, you know, say for example, the modern universities, you know, they're designed to, you know, like respond to like contemporary changes and all this. So does it mean there's, you know, difference in the say like the course structure or the teaching methods between like say like Russell Group universities and the modern universities? Because like you mentioned that, you know, Russell Group universities are like what they're more academic, research based. Okay. So yeah. So does it mean the you know, students attending Russell Groups today do more research, or yeah, perhaps you could just you know, perhaps tell us about the different teaching method or the course structure, perhaps. Yeah, you know, maybe I'll let you start. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I think Tong Hui and I can agree there's actually no difference between the teaching methods of both Russell Group universities and modern universities.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely there's no clear differences, because let's say you're doing biomedical sciences, you have lab works, you have essays, you have research. There are things that is quite standardized. And of course, perhaps for some of the universities, you may be able to go for this optional placement year. So instead of graduating in 3 years for bachelor's, you actually graduate in 4 years. So you do year 1, year 2, do a placement year, work for the entire year, is paid, by the way. So not only you get experience, you also get some pocket money, and then come back to the university. With your experience during the placement, you can actually work on your thesis or project on your last year. And, you know, sometimes for students, that's the better choice.
Okay. Listening to it, I'm quite attracted with that 1 year work experience thing. Wish I have something like that back in my days. Yeah. But yeah, is you know, I think you both of you pretty much covered, you know, the difference or the similarity between the two universities very well. Okay, but let's just say if student wants to apply, okay, to these universities, are there like any application closing dates? Okay, I mean, is application still open now if still want to go for this year's intake? Yeah.
So
yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Justin. We don't have any sort of application closing dates. So at least not for study group. Most of the applications go on a rolling basis. So we'd say first come, first serve. So yes, applications are still open for our September intake. However, we do have a whole bunch of competitive courses, like programs like law, architecture, business, sometimes even dentistry. And those are extremely competitive and have limited places. So we definitely encourage early applications for those.
Okay. Is dentistry still open for this year? I guess it's not.
It is not. But if you are looking for 2022, then yes, please put in your application as early as possible.
Okay, so those dentists or doctors want to be, please take note. 2022 intake is still open. Yeah. But yeah, you know, thanks for explaining about the closing dates and all that. But perhaps you could let us know, like, what the difference, you know, let's just say if student, you know, going through study group, instead of like going directly to the university, you know, would the student, you know, have any, any different experience in the studies? Yeah, perhaps you can elaborate more on that.
So both study group and Kaplan, and Dong Hui, please chime in here. We're pathways to universities. So we essentially fast track the students' education into a bachelor degree. So students who have completed in O-levels, or maybe they've completed JC1, or maybe IB year 1, and maybe they don't really want to do their A-levels, or they don't really want to do their IB diploma. Or we even have students who've completed maybe the first year of poly and they realize that they actually don't want to continue studying. They can actually use our foundation program to get into a bachelor degree in the university in the UK.
So to actually put it in a simpler term, typically, let's face it, Singapore education is very competitive and it's really tough. Okay, we've all been through it, so we all know how difficult it is. Okay, so and it may not be suitable for everyone. You know, for our arts students, you still have to do biochemistry and physics. You can't do math, but you still have to do it, and then you don't do well in it, and then it still counts to your final mark, which it does hurt. So we take O-level students, N-level students. Okay, so instead of going into A-levels, which is 2 years, and if you don't do well for the first year, you have to repeat, and which is 3 years, or you go into poly, which is 3 years, you can actually join us for a foundation program. So both Kaplan and Study Group offers this foundation program that is only 1 academic year. So instead of learning things may not be relevant to your intended career in the future, you actually learn for the particular degree. So for a very good example, if you want to do biomedical science, then during the foundation, you'll learn about biology, chemistry, anything that is actually related to this degree itself. If you want to do law at a university, then you'll be doing logic and critical thinking, you'll be doing contemporary global issues. You don't have to do maths and science. Okay, so basically whatever you learn at foundation is closely related to the degree that you want to pursue at a university. And I think one good thing that both of us do provide is actually an increased chance of university admission. So to look at it, for Singaporeans who actually want to apply to UK universities, let's say you want to go into one of the universities to do law. Essentially, you're looking at 3 A's at A level or AAB. So there's no way to run away from these grades. It's very competitive. And for poly students, I believe that's a 3.5 minimum. And your poly degree, your poly diploma must be relevant to the degree that you want to go into. So it's rather difficult. So what we have is we have ties with these universities directly. So for Kaplan, you can see some of my partners in the background. We work with the university. So the foundation program that you do corresponds to the university degree. And as long as you meet the academic requirement during the foundation, you have a seat at the university. So it increases your chance to university admissions by a lot. Okay, and I would say foundation. It's called a foundation because you're meant to build up your foundation. So you actually know what to expect at university. So we're not throwing you into the deep end straight off. So the support at the colleges is very good. It's there to help students to make sure that they actually progress to the university. So usually our progression for this program is in the 90%. For Singapore students especially, it's actually maybe as high as 95 or even 98%. One of the biggest reasons is that, yeah, because we don't have a language barrier. So it's much easier for the students.
Okay. Oh, thanks for the explanation. Just now you mentioned, how students looking to do law. Okay, some looking into do biomedical science, but I understand that there will be some students who, like after their schools. I mean, I myself was like that. Like after the school, and they haven't got any clue what they want to study. Okay, so let's just say if the student is in that situation, right after the A level, perhaps their grades is average, okay, and they don't know what they want to study. How would you recommend, a student choose, the course or the university that would best fit for them? Dong Hui, since you're on my screen right now, perhaps I'll start with you this time. Yeah.
So best fit for the students is actually very subjective, because it really depends what student wants to study. So my suggestion is that for individuals, find out what you're interested in. If you don't know what you're interested in, do the process of elimination. So personally for myself, I cannot do math, I cannot do science. So definitely I'm not going to go into the health science sector. I'm not going to engineering. So I will look into social sciences and businesses, and arts perhaps. So of these 3, then you can slowly narrow it down. So it is quite difficult for students to actually know what they want to do now. Understandable, especially if students is doing O-levels, they're only 16 years old. No one knows. I don't know what I want to do at 16-year-old. So
I totally agree. Same here.
so one of the ways that you can do is actually to go and look through the university websites, because to you, the degree title is just a title. You will never know what they actually cover or what you'll be studying for the next, rather 4 years. So look through those and see whether it's interesting to you. Of course, statistics, I don't know, if it sounds interesting to you, but you cannot do math, you might want to weigh your options as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to go into research intensive courses, or you want to go into more unique and contemporary courses. So, and another function that I can highlight would be the chat with our student function in majority of the university websites. It's from the university itself. So they actually give you the opportunity to actually talk to their current students. So if you might not, you know, we can tell you that they are great and all that, but from a student perspective, it might be slightly different. So that's one thing that you can do, take advantage of that and actually find out more about the courses and the university from a student's perspective, because they have gone through that and they're currently doing it.
Okay, I think that's quite a helpful tip. Yuna, what about you? Do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, what Dong Hui said pretty much covers it. But you know, to be frank, I mean, look, students, you guys have the benefits of having counselors in your school. You can speak to them. In fact, you have benefits of having counselors like Justin at AECC. They will be able to sort of help you narrow down some of the courses, but definitely your passion comes first. Process of elimination is always great, but sometimes it's not always very effective. So normally I like to tell my students, you know, tell me what it is that you like. If not, tell me what it is that you don't like. And then, you know, let's start from there. I always direct students to job websites. So for example, if, you know, they are looking to do marketing or advertising, but they have no idea what it is, I'm like, okay, go onto a job website, have a look at the job requirements. What are the degrees that these companies are looking for? What it is that you do on a daily basis. Is this something that you think that, you know, you would enjoy doing? What are some of the organizations, the clients that you work with? I find that this is quite helpful because students then are able to see their actual end goal and then work backwards from there.
Okay, well, that's a very helpful tip. Which I had those kind of advice back then. Yeah, back then I was just kind of following my passions. I mean, it's a good thing, but you know, yeah, but sometimes, you know, yeah, you do need to be a bit more smart with the selection. But anyway, that's enough of my history. But yeah, let's move on. Okay, I understand that both of you have many partner universities, universities that you work with. Okay, any particular universities that you want to highlight? Say like popular for Singaporean students, or they're particularly good for certain course. Okay, say for example law, okay, or medicine, or maybe biomedical science. Yeah, any of your partners are they are very cool, stand out for certain subjects. Sorry, Iona, since I'm looking at you, yeah, perhaps I'll start with you.
Thanks, Justin. Okay, so some of the top universities that Study Group represents are Sheffield University, Durham University, Cardiff University, and Leeds University. So Sheffield is world famous for engineering. We're top 100 in the world for civil, structural, and mechanical engineering. We've got architecture, music, psychology, medicine, dentistry, all ranked high up in there. We've got law at Durham University, archaeology, English literature, history, as well as psychology for Durham. For Cardiff, we've got communication and media studies, psychology, architecture, accounting and finance. What else? Geography, English language, and for Leeds, business management.
Yeah, I think you've covered quite a lot there. But I understand that there are many Singapore students based in these universities as well.
Yes, okay. They are. Yeah.
Okay. Dong Hui, how about you? Like any of your partner universities that you wanna like highlight over here, like your superstar university, perhaps? Yeah.
This question is actually very difficult for both of us because there's a huge variety of degrees that is good in almost all of our partners. So they have their strengths and weaknesses. So if you want to do law, we have Bristol, Nottingham, Birmingham. If you want to do vet science, We have it at Bristol. You want to do art and animation designs, there's Westminster, Nottingham Trent. Psychology, we have it at York. Physiotherapy, we have Nottingham, Birmingham, and Brighton. Computer science, and so on. So there is a huge variety of courses. I would suggest that for students to actually go on Study Group and Kaplan's website. We have like a degree finder for you to actually look through the whole thing. We also categorize it under health science, all the different categories, or business, engineering, and whatnot. So that would be the best way for students to see.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think based on your explanation, I think all of us are quite attracted of starting the studies in the UK, or at least applying for it. But at this stage, perhaps you could let us know what's the situation with the travel. Can Singaporean students travel to the UK already? Are we in the good green list, amber list, or what? Whatever color category they have. Perhaps you could let us know what's the current situation over there right now. Dong Hui, maybe I'll start with you.
COVID. It's an ever-changing situation. Nobody likes it. What we tell you now, pretty much is going to change when you start your courses in September or January or whenever. Okay, things change daily, so no one will know what will happen. But what we can say is that no matter the situation, all the colleges and the academics will give full support to the students. So I think we've been through this for 1 year. We thought it's going to be over this year, but clearly it's not going to happen. So digital learning is something, I guess it's there to stay for the foreseeable future until COVID actually dies down and it's safe to travel. But it doesn't stop students from going to the UK. If you still want to go to the UK for face-to-face learning, you can still do so. I guess it really depends on where you'll be studying, because some places, it's a smaller city, the risk is actually not too high because they have controlled it quite well, because UK is a huge place. So if you want to go to the UK, that's fine. I'm sure Study Group has it as well. We have airport pickup. So we will pick you up from the airport and send you right to your accommodation. If you need to quarantine, then you quarantine. If you don't need to quarantine, great, then you can explore the city. So we will also help you to sort of, help you to get your necessities. The college and the accommodation team will sort of get you more familiar with the UK, where to get your food, where to get your groceries, etc.
Okay, thanks for that, Dominic. I guess it's the same for you as well.
Well, actually, just to add on, Justin, to what Dong Hui was saying, so as of 8:30 p.m. today, this information is accurate, but it may change. So basically, Singapore has moved into the green list from the amber list with effect of 17th of May in the UK. So being on the green list means that you are free to travel into the UK. In fact, I think the UK has not actually been the UK has mostly been open to international travelers, just depending on the situation. So before students leave for England or for the UK, from a green country like Singapore, you need to take a COVID-19 test. And then you need to sort of, you need to take a COVID-19 test, I think at least 1 or 2 days before you arrive. And then you have to book and pay for 2 COVID-19 tests. So one that's taken on the 2nd day, and one that's taken on the 9th day or something like that. And you need to also complete what we call a passenger locator form. So this ensures that the UK government knows exactly where you are. And so if your test comes out negative for COVID, then you don't need to quarantine. If it comes out positive, then you will need to quarantine. And, we will get somebody to pick you up from the airport, as Dong Hui mentioned, and put you in your accommodation for you to quarantine. So yeah, so that's
okay. But on this note, though, would the student need to get themselves vaccinated before they fly over, or would you happen to know on this issue?
Well, thankfully, as of yesterday's announcement, all the students are getting registered and vaccinated as of 1st of June here in Singapore. So that's great. So if you can get your vaccination done before you leave, that's always good. Otherwise, the UK will actually allow students international students to be vaccinated in the UK under the NHS, which is the National Health Service. So you just need to wait for your age range to come through. So right now, I think they're vaccinating ages 32 and above right now. And so students will be able to have access to the NHS vaccine when they arrive in the UK.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm hoping to get mine very soon. But yeah, no, thanks for the update on the COVID situation. But yeah, like both you and Dong who said, yeah, we all hope that this problem will go away very soon, so that we all can return to normal life. Okay, I think both you and Dong Hui have covered pretty much about everything that we need to know about studying the UK process and all this. Yeah, sorry.
I think I'll add on one part.
Sure.
I'll just add on one part. I think at this moment, I think we've been through COVID for a year. So we know pretty much what to expect to a certain extent for the foreseeable future. So the advice is that for students, don't delay your studies and plans. It is an unprecedented time, but I think Singapore government has also said it's not going to be a pandemic, it's going to be an endemic. So COVID is not going to go away with the way how things are. So I would suggest for students to actually look on the bright side of things, or rather parents. Digital learning is offered for almost all the programs, and at foundation level, there is no lab work, there is no too intense classes where you have to be there to do certain things. So don't waste time waiting and actually take up the digital lessons, so you can move on to the next stage of your life. For parents, on the very bright side, you can actually easily save up to about 18 to 20,000 pounds or even more. Because you're not paying for the accommodation, you're not paying for the visa, you're not paying for a flight ticket, quarantine even, as well as expenses in the UK. So 18, 20,000 pounds, this is easily equivalent or even more than a yearly tuition. Okay. The classes are taught in real time, just like what we're doing now. So there is a structure. Don't worry too much. Students have gone through that for more than a year. Teachers are very, they're professional at this already. So you'll definitely be getting, the support and whatever not from the tutors.
Just out of curiosity though, let's just say if the student took on the online learning, do they follow UK's lecture timing, or would this timing be kind of be adjusted to international timing? So because I understand, some being a university student myself previously, there's some classes in the morning, some in the afternoons, so do the students follow the UK timing as well?
I think study group is doing the same. We have all adjusted it. I mean, your tutors are in the UK, okay, so they have to teach at UK timing. But then again, students are all over the world. So it's not just Singapore students. Your students in Southeast Asia, in Europe, and everywhere. So for Singapore, we have about 7 to 8 hour difference. I would say it's not too bad. So what we have done is to actually push all the classes in the morning for the UK. So the classes will start at 9 a.m. UK time all the way until around 2 p.m. So for Singapore, it's around 4 p.m. all the way until 10, 11. Let's face it, students these days, no one sleeps that early. Okay, so I'm sure you'll prefer the late afternoons instead of waking up at 9 a.m. So I would say classes wise, this is the timing, but you also have to understand the tutors as well. Let's say if you want to have some one-to-one sessions because you want to clarify some questions, the tutors are more than happy to talk to you, but you need to know that they will be having classes from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you might have to meet them around 12 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. in Singapore timing, but it's usually just a one-off or 2 times, this sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the clarification, Dong Hui. But yeah, I don't think I have any other questions from my end. And I think both Dong Hui and Iona have covered pretty much everything. But yeah, I think that it is a good time now. I think we open the questions to the floor. So yeah, I think we'll just move on to the Q&A section now. So at this moment, I see that there's one question from Vicky Yen. Right. Which university allows us to gain admissions and defer the study so that NS can be served prior to starting year one? So that's the question. Yeah, any comment on that, Iona or Tonghui?
So
Yeah.
sorry, so is this for foundation or is this for bachelor degree?
Okay, there's no didn't really say, but perhaps we will just assume that, let's just say if it's for foundation, would you guys allow deferral?
Yeah, study group allows deferral as long as it's not a competitive course like dentistry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tonghui, I guess it's the same for you as well.
So I would say yes, definitely. Student can defer
Oh, it's for
their
physics.
studies. For physics,
Yeah. So yeah.
yeah, physics no problem.
Yeah, no
Usually
problem.
physics, competitive courses are usually like the health science courses, and students, it's direct entry is already strict. So similarly, foundation is just as strict. So, but for general courses, physics, sure. You know what students usually do is that once you're done with O levels, you have some time, take a foundation. Once you're done with foundation, you can actually defer your university year one entry 2 years later. Usually the university only allow for 1 year deferral, but national service is 2 years. All our partner universities understands that it's a national requirement. No one's going to fight with me there on this. So you'll be able to defer your studies for 2 years and join right after your NS.
Okay, that's great to hear. Okay, there's more questions here. How much points should we require in IELTS? Yeah, I think this would be a straightforward one. Yeah, Iona, maybe you'd like to let us know what the IELTS requirement is to get into the foundation here.
Okay, no problem. So basically, again, depending on the intake. So for study group, we've got 3 intakes. We've got September, January, and we've got a March intake. So the March intake is the shortest intake, and that's the one where students require higher IELTS, which is 6.0 with no band less than 5.5. But if you're looking to join us in September or in January, your IELTS requirement is 5.5, no band less than 5.0. It's not an issue for Singaporean students. And just to let you guys know, for students that want to start in this September intake, we allow a flexible English language requirement. So if you're going to be studying online, students don't actually need to do the IELTS UKVI to start online. We can actually let students start online with Duolingo or, Pearson academic test as well.
Okay. Tonghui, the same goes for you as well.
For us, yeah, it's pretty much the same as what Iona mentioned. IELTS is actually just to test your English level. Okay. Typically our IELTS requirement is, it ranges from 5.5 to 6. Some of the program even require 7. I think one of the best indicator would be what degree you're going for. If let's say you want to go into English and literature, your English better be slightly higher. But for the rest of them, it's actually not as high. So a 5.5 for IELTS, the full marks is 9, by the way. So 5.5 is equivalent, or rather the range around a C or a D at O-level English. So it's, I mean, we don't see an issue for Singaporean students. The big majority is actually getting much higher than just the 5.5. Okay, similarly for Kaplan, if you're starting September intake digitally, we don't need you to take IELTS. We can actually waive your English condition using your A-level or even O-level English.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. Right, I think we have one more question here. Okay, I don't think this one is relevant to the both of you. Do you assist with PhD programs in Singapore? This focus here is more on study in the UK, but yeah, we do assist with PhD programs for study in the UK, but yeah, not so much in Singapore, I would say. Yeah, so but yeah, if you're really interested in PhD program in the UK, please feel free to contact us, either me or one of my colleagues. Okay, and yeah, we'll assist you with the application process.
I think for students who sort of don't know what AACC does, they actually work with a lot of universities overseas because they are not here. So they in turn represent these universities to actually tell you more about these overseas universities. So if you're looking to do the PhD program in Singapore, I'm assuming that you are in Singapore, you can just go and look for the universities. You know, just walk in, they have their own admission centers, they have their staff will be able to help you with that.
Okay, thanks for that, Dong Hui. Okay, I don't. That's the last question. I don't see there's any other questions. But yeah, audience, please feel free if there's any other questions, just type it down here. We'll try to answer it as much as possible. But to be honest, I don't see that there's any other questions for now. Okay, I'll tell you what. So okay, there's one more question from Vicky again. Can I apply to multiple faculty? I guess what you meant is apply. Oh, sorry, no, for multiple university. Yeah. So can she allow to can she do that? Apply to multiple university for the foundation course?
So
I guess there's a
Vicky,
limit to it.
sorry, not sure if we understand your question correctly. Do you mean that can you apply for multiple foundation colleges or multiple universities using the foundation results?
I think we actually can answer both, because the next question is, if I don't meet the progression requirement for foundation to degree, can I go to another university?
Oh.
I think I can cover the first one. So yes, you can apply for multiple foundation that leads to various universities. So if you want to apply for, let's say, business at Nottingham, Birmingham, Queen Mary, sure, you know, you can do that. Same for study groups partner as well, so you can do that. Anyone, you want to take the second half?
So the second question is, so if you don't meet the progression requirement, for example, to the universities of your choice. So for example, let's say you started off at Durham University doing their foundation of business management, and let's say you don't meet the progression requirement to get into Bachelor of Business Management at Durham University, you can, there are a few options here. So Durham University or the foundation will usually allow students to retake the exam in order for them to meet the progression requirement. If for whatever reason retaking does not work, so after you retake the exam, if let's say your grade is still not high enough, then what a study group will do first is that we would then help you look for a university within our network. So either Sheffield, Cardiff, or Leeds, or any of our other 15 UK universities that you are looking that will accept your foundation results from Durham. And at the same time, if you're also looking to apply outside of that, you know, some of our colleges will also help you put in a UCAS application. I hope that answers your question, Vicky.
Okay, thanks for the clarification, Iona, Dong Hui. Right, one last question. Okay, sorry, there's one more, just two more just popped up. Okay, first one, foreigner who is S pass holder, are they eligible to apply for a student visa? I think I can answer this one. Yes, you know, you will be eligible for student visa provided that you meet the visa requirements. Okay, so yeah, for this, you know, we will assist with the we will assist you with the application process, and we'll just we will make sure that, you know, you have the correct documents so that, you know, your visa will be approved. Okay, so yeah, please feel free to get in touch with us on this visa matters. And is there any scholarship available? Okay, well, perhaps I'll let both Dong Hui and Iona answer this. Any particular scholarship that we can take note of?
So for the September intake for study group, we have up to £5,000 available for your foundation program and up to £3,000 available for your pre-master's program.
Okay.
For Kaplan as well, we do offer scholarship to students. So it starts from £1,000 and up to £4,000 to £5,000. So it depends on the program that you're applying for. Typically, programs that has a quota, which means we have limited seats, usually don't have a scholarship, but the rest, big majority of the program do have it.
Okay. Now another question from Vicky. Any of the group universities foundation course also recognized by Oxbridge, Imperial, or UCL? Yeah, now maybe I'll let you start on this one first.
Vicky, you're asking $1 million question here. So traditionally, Oxbridge universities, Imperial and UCL, they only accept students that come from A levels or IB diploma. Unfortunately, we do not have students so far with our foundation results, not that I'm aware of at least, that have progressed to Oxbridge universities.
Same with Kaplan. Let's put it simply. To get into Oxbridge, the requirement and the standard the students they're looking for is very, very high. So they're not just looking at your academic results, they are also looking at a huge variety of other factors. They're looking at your co-curricular activities. You have to go through an interview. In fact, even for students who get 3 A's at A levels, doesn't mean they can get into Oxbridge. This is actually the top 5 universities in the UK. So I'll be very honest with you. Technically speaking, you can use the foundation result to apply for these universities, but honestly speaking, I don't think the chances of you getting in using just this is not enough.
Great, thanks. Thanks for the clarification, Leona and Tong Hui. I don't see any more questions here. Thanks for the advice. Thank you for the questions, Vicky. Yeah, I think if there's no more questions, I think we'll wrap the session. Wrap the session up. Okay.
So sorry, I just thought of something.
Oh yes, go ahead.
So, for students who want to get into the top 5 unis in the UK, Oxbridge, UCL, or that, for bachelor's degree, it is very difficult. Okay, but if you really still want to go to the universities, I would suggest looking at them at a master's degree. So during the bachelor's degree, you perform really well for a bachelor's, get a first class, second upper. I would say getting into Oxbridge for master degree is slightly easier.
Okay, thanks for that, Tong Hui. Let me just see. Okay, yeah, there really is no more question for now. So yeah, if there's no more questions, then I think we can wrap the session up. But before we do, any other last note that you guys want to mention, perhaps Tong Hui or Iona? Anything else that that suddenly came up to your mind?
Well, I mean, thanks, Justin. I think what Dong Hui said is correct. I mean, COVID is here and it will be an ever-changing situation. And we definitely do encourage students, to stop putting their dreams on hold. And, because, life goes on, and we encourage you to, put in your applications, start studying with us, either one of us. In September, you can do it online if you're not ready to fly over, and then you can transit into the UK at any point in time. And, you will be able to finish up your foundation program and your bachelor's degree. And now UK has what we call a post-study work visa. So those rights and rules take effect summer of 2021, in fact, 1st of July. So students who graduate after that will be eligible to stay in the UK for up to 18 months to get some work experience, and as well as to, network and stuff like that. So we highly recommend that, when you are ready, your students are ready, please feel free to put in an application, get in touch with Justin. He will advise you on what's the best course of action. And, Kaplan and Study Group will be here to support you all the way.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Iona, and thank you, Dong Hui, for the thorough explanation and clarification as well. Yeah. Okay. And thanks for everyone for joining us this evening. I hope that gives you a very good idea about going for studies in the UK. Just before we go, okay, I just like to mention that ACC Global, will be having a few few talks throughout this next couple of months in June, July, and perhaps in August as well. So please continue to check our social media, our website, and if there are any interesting talks coming up, we will publish it there. And yeah, if you have any questions regarding study in the UK or perhaps other destination as well, if you have them in mind, please feel free to contact us. Drop us an email, give us a call, and then we'll answer your questions. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Fiona, Dong Hui, and also everyone else for joining us for this talk. And yeah, good evening to all, and yeah, hope to see you guys again in the future.
Thank you, Justin. Thanks for inviting us.
All right, thank
Take
you.
care, stay
having
safe,
us.
everyone.
Yeah, stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy. All right.